We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about who the heck is selling crypto at the moment, why is crypto red, what is going on, and there are a couple of potential answers, and I hope I got them all, but I think so. So let's talk a couple of minutes about who is selling and why the crypto market is red at the moment. And then also let's take a look at the altcoins, because what we've been saying about the altcoins potentially retesting levels is at the moment happening, and it's only for gearing up for the next big move upwards. Altcoin hasn't even really started, and it's about to, it's going to. So this is going to be very interesting as well. And in the end, we are going to talk about Ecomi and Veve as well. So make sure to stay tuned all the way through. So, good morning to each and every one of you. I see that the excitement in the market is quickly fading once prices are red, and everyone is then fearful that they have somehow missed something, or that the bear market is starting or something like that, which we are far away from, by the way. Hey, by the way, we have already people here in the chat. Trucking Hank, good morning. Jasper Frank, hello. And Flo, good morning to you as well. Yeah, so people are a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious because of the prices. So we have a couple of people here, so make sure to smash up the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, notifications on, prepare for your altcoins that you want to take a look at after the section of who did sell. And we are definitely going to talk about Vechain and Sandbox again today, as those have something to talk about. So that is definitely happening, and obviously Ecomi and Veve. We also see Ronai Arnold, good day from Perth, Australia. Holy moly, that's far away. Welcome to the stream, Australia. And Dr. Strange is also here with cryptic messages, bringing us the fire. Ronai Arnold says, Vechain, please. Yeah, absolutely. Vechain is one of my favorite projects. I got to see Sunny Lou already live. Once at least. It's also uploaded on this channel. But yeah, so let's without further blah blah, let's jump right into the action. So why is the chat not okay? There it is. So Vechain is actually holding pretty strong. Yeah, I think it's holding on 4 cents or so, right? But this is Bitcoin here at the moment on the 4-hourly chart, and what people are at the moment crying about and nervous about, that is this drawdown, right? 7%, not a small drawdown, but also nothing super big that you could even call it a proper correction yet, right? And a little bounce here on top of exactly this level. So this might be already the end. I mean, we see it here, there's a little bit of confluence, right? But this might already be the end of the drawdown if it doesn't have to, right? You can also have something like this as the end, and then you go back to this level here at 87,000. But we cannot say for sure, as we are here up in price discovery. There's very limited visual for that. But what is important is to put it into perspective. So here's your whole drawdown. It's a one red day, right? And now you're already green, bouncing back. Some buyers are coming in. If you look at it on the weekly, you can say, okay, fair, right? At some point it has to correct, right? Huge impulse move, then corrective move would be nothing out of the ordinary. Even a correction down to here would look just like a healthy correction. You would go back to 82k or something like that, right? So all in all, it's always like this: impulse, correction, right? It's also in the other way in the bear market: impulse, correction, right? And usually it's something where the market is healing itself. So could it be over already? There is some strength coming in. Could it go on for another week? Yes, sure. I think this is just a proper pullback. Will it go further, as Rona asks? I don't know. I can't say for sure, because I mean, where is the next level, right? Where's a level to base on? I mean, you can go into lower time frames. Sorry, you go into lower time frames again. Yeah, you could. I would say not more than 87k, and then we will see, right? Not more than down to 87k. But on the daily, you have the indicators on the bear cross, so you could have a little bit more of sideways to downwards. Also, you see, like at the moment, the RSI is cooling off, the MACD is cooling off, the TSI is cooling off, but this must be a short-term correction, because on the weekly, it's not that big. So what I could imagine is that it's going on for the entire week, and then, or maybe 2 weeks, and then we are going again, right? I mean, that people get super exhausted, because we just had hit something like close to 100k. We fell a couple of dollars short of 100k, and people are already like, when is going to continue? We need to give it some time, because indicators cooling off is not a bad thing. And if you look at it on a monthly, you can't really say that there's a pullback going on, right? I mean, this is the monthly. So where's the pullback? I mean, you have a little bit of a wick on top, but there's not really a pullback. Yeah, maybe out of the altcoins there will be harder pullbacks. If Bitcoin pulls back a little bit more, usually it's like when there are some rules. When Bitcoin corrects, altcoins correct harder, right? That's usually what happens. Unless you're already at the Bitcoin top, then you have some Bitcoin corrections where altcoins are just firing and all the money is flowing into the altcoins, right? But overall, this is what people are asking questions. I wouldn't even say panicking, but asking questions about, right? And if you are relatively serious here, you just put a big fat line on top of this, right? On somewhere here on top of the previous all-time high, and you would see that we just broke out. We don't need to know much more. Wait a second, that was not straight. There we go. We had resistance, overhead resistance. Now we're breaking out, right? I mean, this is just like here, right? So we are basically here, right? And if you compare these two cycles, we're basically here on this month end, somewhere here at above previous all-time high. Maybe we are here, right? Somewhere above previous all-time high. 3 to 4 green candles stacked on top, and then we might be at the Bitcoin top, right? As we also see here on the TSI. For the TSI though, we should get the longest chart that we have. Here we see it, right? Halvings, last elections, and so on. This is a little bit of a cluttered up chart, but just to show you again, if we would close the week on this, we would close with the TSI way broadened. So there is at least 3 to 4 months of upward action coming still before Bitcoin tops out, and then it's still on the altcoins to fire a longer time. So at least 3 to 4 months, maybe way longer, depending on how we are correcting or if we are just going up in a straight line. Hey Green Lantern, what's going on? GM boys present, driving and paying attention. Great. So let's get into who is selling. Okay, so first of all, the usual suspects, right? We have Bitcoin spot ETF, total assets in the spot ETFs have were showing an outflow of 438 million. Obviously, that is one explanation that some traders went out of the ETFs at hitting 100k. And at the same time though, where is it? At the same time though, BlackRock bought the dip and added 2,821 Bitcoin just in the same day. So they actually had inflows at the time. So Green Lantern says, I think it's time to get into mid caps. Maybe that's the time. That's how altcoin season starts. So here we have another explanation, which I also like. Nobody's selling Bitcoin, which is not entirely true. Some people actually sold Bitcoin. We will see in a second. But here's also, exchanges sell long traders, long positions with loaned leverage and pay market makers to go back and liquidate or force them out. It's a business. Time for you to learn this and stop asking why are people selling. Watch the liquidation level chart and see this accurately in real time. As a bull, we love flushes. This is where we enter lower. Stop being afraid of pullbacks, flip the switch and become a trader. I disagree on the last one, because also pullbacks you don't really care about pullbacks. If you just hodl, you buy low, extremely low, you hodl all the way up, you buy somewhere as close as you can get to the top, you sell as close as you can get to the top then, and that's your one trade, right? But maybe there's also, exchanges are coming in, they force liquidate people out. The more we have green, the more long traders you have. So that could be. But now, who is selling? So here we see that actually sellers in the last days were mostly small holders. Wallets with absolute shrimp amount to sharks to mini whales, right? Something like that. So what you see here is that addresses with less than 1 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin and 100 Bitcoin as a cohort have been net sellers all year. At some point, willing sellers will run out of coins. But what is happening is that basically people are, and this is so crazy because Bitcoin, everyone is so bullish on Bitcoin because it's decentralized and the plebs hold most of the coins. Well, that will not go on forever, because the plebs are currently taking profit selling their Bitcoin to the MicroStrategies and BlackRock ETFs of this world. We see that they must have been coming in last time at 50k or 60k. Now they're in profit and they're like, oh, this time I'm going to sell. And now they sold at 80, 90,000 to lock in some profits, right? And maybe also many people, now that they're in profit, they're taking something because the economic situation is not that great for some countries. Yeah, Germany being one of them. Maybe they need the money, who knows? But we see that these wallets all sold to the 100 plus BTC wallet. Yeah. So that is, pullbacks attract buyers. That is absolutely correct as well. But you need to already be a little bit more experienced buyer. So, and then also we see here the 7.7 billion people who live outside the US, who desperately need the financial freedom BTC can provide, are selling to US investors. And this is somewhat true because we see here the Coinbase premium has rarely been this high for this long. In other words, this suggests that the current selling pressure at around the 100K level is most likely coming from overseas. Yeah, we see it here. So here are the premiums at Coinbase. Why does he conclude that? Because that is Coinbase US, basically, right? So yeah, so what can we conclude? Smaller wallets from overseas and some investors in ETF have sold off, but the big boys are buying. We saw MicroStrategy is buying, and BlackRock also buying. So this theory might be very, very accurate. Yeah. What we also see is some long-term hodlers and US spot ETF balances have position change. So also some long-term hodlers are now moving out, probably taking some lifestyle chips. So we see here the ETF position change is basically going up. Long-term hodler position change is the red line. So we see long-term hodlers have been piling on. Now they're selling again. So we had those going up in the lower parts of the bull market already, but in this bull flag. So this is the whole bull flag from before, right? From here to here. So we had long-term hodlers piling up, and now since this is going up, they have been selling off again, right? So now we see that long-term hodlers are actually taking some profits. Overall, though, I think the extremely long-term is the only interesting thing, right? And look at this comment from 2010. Guy says, I have only 600 Bitcoins, virtually all generated last week, generated even like mined. I missed the bus. I'll be buying some soon. So this is like people now. Oh, I only have 0.1 Bitcoin accumulated a couple of months ago. I missed the bus. I'll be buying more soon, right? So some people will say that. Well, the thing here is that Ichi probably is now extremely rich, or he fumbled this opportunity a year later. So who knows? But yeah. If he still hodls the 600 plus Bitcoin, then he is pretty good. And I think that's the long-term horizon. I mean, that's only 14 years ago. It's only 14 years ago. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 14 years. Probably not the same returns like that, but still pretty good returns, considering that many people are fumbling this opportunity right now. And they will probably look back and be like, oh my God, why did I sell to the institutions at 95,000, right? That like these time capsules are so valuable because you can see that the narrative, like the things that people said, they were the same things that people are saying right now, just more extreme because the adoption wasn't there. You had to have like really hard conviction. Someone is asking, Ichi, are you still here, brother? I hope so. Probably on a yacht or something like that. Yeah. So we have actually I didn't mark the time here from where Pompliano is answering, but I think it's somewhere here. It's an interesting one. Let's listen quickly a little bit into this interview.
Conservative strategies, and I'm wondering. Are we going to see more of that? And is it for fiduciaries and for pension managers and people that, he was talking about narrowing the liability gap for state and municipal employees and their pension plans using Bitcoin to augment the return. Is that prudent in your view?
Well, I think there's a couple of things going on. First of all, when we talk about corporations, historically, they've had two levers to pull in terms of improving their business. They can drive more revenue or they can cut expenses. What Michael Saylor really introduced is this idea of taking your balance sheet and creating a third lever that you can pull. It's not really that new. Real estate has been doing this for a long time, where they use that to secure loans and do other things. It's just that we haven't thought of software companies or others being able to do the same thing. And so now you have an asset that obviously is growing very quickly. There's only 21 million of them, and it seems to be working out. Now, what I do think is interesting is because there's only 21 million of these, anyone who buys it, if there's increased demand, the price goes up. And so, we had a fund that was anchored by two public pension funds that we raised in 2018. We bought Bitcoin around $5,500 for those public pension funds. They're up really big on it. And so I do think that anytime you buy an asset, whether it's Bitcoin stocks, commodities, real estate, et cetera, and it goes up a lot, it will help close those funding gaps. Now, what I do think is really important.
Okay, so I think this is the first part for institutions to close these funding gaps. If they see that some institutions are outperforming, like MicroStrategy, they probably adopt the same. And it's not only MicroStrategy that is running this strategy at the moment. Only MicroStrategy is the most famous example. But if you think back to our streams, how often have we reported that the software company MetaPlanet from Japan is also piling on Bitcoin? So they are very likely running the same strategy as MicroStrategy. And there are potentially a handful of others that are doing this. But if they are successful over a longer time horizon or a longer time span, and they are successful throughout the next bear market, there will be a lot of companies that are looking to that, and a lot of boards and a lot of stock investors and so on that will demand that other companies are driving the same thing as well. And on top of that, you have other companies trying out other business models. And this is very crucial here. The way that MicroStrategies goes over this is only one. But think about all the companies that are involved with energy production. We see that German Telekom, for example, is trying out to put excess energy into the Bitcoin network to then withdraw or to then mine Bitcoin, have Bitcoin then in exchange, and therefore basically save excess energy in the Bitcoin network. So this is another way of where you could have nuclear power plants, solar energy, wind energy, volcanic energy, water energy, right? All these producers, if they have somewhat excess energy or dropping prices or whatever, they can just divert and not sell to the actual or everything that is not sellable at the moment. They can just drive that into their Bitcoin mining rigs, mine some Bitcoin in exchange, and then go on with their normal business, right? And that's something that is like people are just looking at this at the moment, institutions, companies, funds, and so on, and looking how can we improve our products and our competitive advantage through using Bitcoin, right? And that will be the same for investment funds, pension funds, ETFs, governments, right? Governments, backed currency, and so on. So this is super crazy, but let's listen a little bit more.
Important, though, is Bitcoin in particular was a bottoms-up adoption story. So historically, technologies are top-down. Governments and militaries adopt it first, then corporations, and eventually individuals. Here, you actually had individuals first. The reason why that's important is Bitcoin is the only asset that I know of in financial markets. As the price goes up, it becomes less risky. And so now you have the biggest pools of capital showing up and saying, it now is only big enough where I can start to buy it. And so you have central banks, you have public pension funds, et cetera, that are saying, okay, now we're getting close to $2 trillion. I can start allocating to this thing. And so
and that's 1 second here. And that's the opportunity that people are fumbling right now. Because you basically have an asset that was extremely risky. You helped through the more risky times. Now it's less risky. It's still extremely volatile, high returns, and people are selling this because they think 90,000 or 95,000 is a big number. But considering all of the institutions are not in yet, like many institutions are not in yet, or not in with a big allocation because it was considered too risky, and they probably wait still another cycle, and probably central banks and countries are still waiting 1 or 2 more cycles to really adopt this thing. Selling right now is actually more risky than having it or hodling it right now. So I think that's really the opportunity that people are fumbling right now with taking profit. I mean, there's nothing against shaving off a couple of percent, but what we're seeing is that some people are selling everything because they think that the couple of $1,000s that they made is the life-changing money. And I'm not talking about altcoins. Altcoins are here for being sold at some point for like 100% for extreme profit, right? To obtain more Bitcoin and have a little bit more of this pie, a little bit more of this function that hedges against the money printing that has to occur because of the extensive debt that is that all the countries piled on. You're basically, and I repeat this every time until this is sinking in, you basically with Bitcoin hold a small, like a bond, like a small share, a mathematical function against debasement and basically the right to obtain something of the refinancing of the debt through money printing, right? Whereas others are just have their monetary value printed away. But that's basically it, what I wanted to show you from Pompliano here. You can watch the whole thing on Bitcoin Archive a little bit longer. But this thing that Bitcoin becomes less risky as the price is going up is very, very interesting. Very interesting take. Anyways, so what we also see as this dip is going on, we also see or saw right before that the USDT supply is rapidly increasing, and it's not because of profit taking, it's also because we see that at Tether they are printing billions at the moment from inflows into stablecoin, so the next move is already happening, right? We saw this also here, like how much was piling in, then they were buying, and then price suddenly went up, right? So we will see how much more will come in, but definitely, in my opinion, the move is not over yet. Retail is just starting to discover. I hear it everywhere. I hear it in at work and so on. People start to talk Bitcoin, right? They don't talk altcoins, they talk Bitcoin, and that's also what's reflecting in our Google search trends. Yeah, why doesn't it load now? Here we go. Google search trends. There you go. We are at the 46 now because obviously we're correcting. We have been at the 66, but we see that the big spike. Retail is looking for Bitcoin, not so much for altcoins. It was at the 7 or so. A 7 is nothing. 7 is like pre-bull run, pre-altcoin season. So we're still in Bitcoin season, extremely in Bitcoin season, and that shows, right? Altcoins are reacting pretty red here today. We have a couple of positives, but pretty much the altcoins that have been moving extremely hard, they are correcting now also pretty hard, right? That's normal, that happens. Sandbox has been pumping over 100%, now it's correcting. Peanut has been pumping like crazy, now it's correcting, and so on. Popcat, Polkadot also correcting, I don't even know. I think it has also popped a little bit. Let's take a look at the top two. Oh, actually we see that the larger caps, they are down average like minus 1.7% only, and you see here that the other cohorts they're like mostly green, right? So we see this here. I think that the current inflow into altcoins, what we see here on a weekly, right? By the way, Chill Guy is making millionaires right now. I don't even know what that is. But what I think is happening at the moment is that this is a smart money going into position, right? So we see this here on the bubbles, on the crypto bubbles on the weekly. This money right now, I think it's older, like people that are in this cycle already, that have been in the last cycle or somewhere in the last cycle, and they are bringing money into position. There are some people that are more or closer to break even, that haven't sold in the last cycle. They just want to get out of certain coins. Now they're selling those coins. But we see that overall, like everything's up like 20-30% on the week, except meme coins. Meme coins are down, like Peanut minus 30, Popcat minus 26. Some meme coins are down, not all of them, obviously. So money's getting into position for the real pump. The real wave 3 is coming once we're looking at the altcoins. So let's check a little bit what's new for Vechain, for example, and then look at Vechain. But first of all, altcoin season indicator. Altcoin season indicator says we're very close to, or headed in the direction of, an alt season, right? We have, at some points we have already been close. We are not even, so there's still some way to go, some weeks to pass until the real altcoin season is on, right? But so the indicator doesn't say it's a hardcore Bitcoin season anymore, right? We're already seeing some altcoins popping really hard. Now let's take a look at some altcoins here. I see also in the chat there were some altcoins. Arvo, what was the other one? MK. But here Vechain has another big use case that is coming out here. Vechain proves blockchain real world potential in Renji Hospital partnership. So since 2021 already they're collaborating with this hospital chain in China. And they do this like smart care. My Baby has been highlighted in the latest Shinmin weekly report. So we see here also proud to be leading adoption of real-world application, creating tangible real-world impact. Advanced tools see blockchain operational in even the toughest jurisdictions and strictest data environments. Compliance is crucial for implementation, and I think that's why people are bullish on Vechain, because for institutional adoption of an altcoin, you need to do a lot of work in terms of compliance. There are some of the bigger altcoins do also have that, like Chainlink and so on. Chainlink, XRP, they have that, right? Many don't have that, but yeah. So here we see the Renji Hospital use case, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see what the use case exactly is on the screenshot. There is the article. Image data of an embryo culture is transmitted to patients safely and effectively through the Internet Hospital platform, and the unique code of the file is stored in Vechain blockchain. Through the Internet and blockchain and other technologies, the blind box of embryo in vitro culture is transformed into clear, real-time and real information to show patients, alleviating patient anxiety and improving patient experience. The project has also successfully obtained a national invention patent. So what they are doing here is basically some patient folder where the codes are stored on the blockchain, yeah, in a safe encrypted format. That's what they are doing. So quick check on the Vechain chart. Let's find some. Where's the chart here? Which chart can I use? There you go. That's still the flow key on the pullback. Where's Chris Klein? Where's Chris Klein for the flow keys? But we are looking for the Vechain chart first. So what do we see? We see that at overhead resistance we're getting a little bit of a retracement here, and as we see from the previous cycle, this stuff like this can take a while. We don't know how long it will take for these corrections. I mean, this is a weekly candle. We can look at the daily and we will see it's only one little red candle until now. We had massive inflows into Vechain. Overall, I would say this is the beginning of wave 3, right? So we have a wave 1, a corrective wave 2. Here's our wave 3. Then there will be a pullback to a 4 and a 5. I always do this, that I don't zoom out enough. And then you have somewhat like a wave 5 upwards, right? So something like that could be happening, right? I think that is going to happen for Vechain. And yeah, the question is when to take profits. There are a couple of targets here that I personally have for myself. We will see how it looks when it's going on. Definitely there will be some profit taking on Vechain in the mix. Let's see the Aevo USDT. Oops, USDT on Binance. Ooh, okay, that is interesting. That is interesting. I don't know if there's a better, longer chart than this. Not really. Here we are on KuCoin chart. So, in case that Aevo is well and fine, right? You have yourself an interesting. This could be a buy. This could be a buy. Because look at this. So this is major resistance, right? It depends now if this holds. But this is like major bear market, like base forming, I don't know what. So let's just say you have a base here. And you have been going all the way, like consolidating and so on. Now you kind of have a breakout and a retest, maybe a retest. Like you want to see this. You want to see this not lose this level, or let me see. Yeah, I mean, if you consider this to be true, right? These candle bodies. Otherwise, you would say you are still in this pattern. I think that's more accurate, right? If you take the top levels, maybe it's not a buy just yet. We don't know, right? You can also say this is your, like, take the wicks here. This is your base. Unclear. Let's say unclear because it's not clean. I mean, this is relatively clean if you put it this way, right? So it needs to break out still. But what is crazy is this massive drawdown. This massive drawdown here. And let's just say it goes back up to all-time high. Would be an 8, 9, almost 10x. When did this launch? This did launch. Oh, this only launched like in March 24. So there now it's interest. It would be interesting to see what they do, right? Let's look at coin market cap maybe. Wait a second, let's take another one of these. Let's take this here, coin market cap. Let's look at the coin market cap and go to Aevo. So 377 million market cap. Can I? Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, what is that? Like the token unlocks though. The token unlocks. Wow. What happened here? There is some big unlocks going on. That's probably the reason why it dropped so heavily. Does it have a description or so? Doesn't. So here we see the unlocks. This is. But it has everything now unlocked, it seems, or at least that's what's suggested here. So I'm not quite sure. It doesn't really say like what the description is, right? That they didn't put any description into this, so we need the website. Just looking at this quickly at this coin because it was interesting in the chart. Decentralized trading. Oh, okay. They are like a platform, trading platform. I understand. Trade options, perps, and strategic all in one place. Maybe with AI integration, but mainly it seems they are a trading platform, right? Custom L2, product execution track record. If they are an AI play, they didn't really they didn't really put that out here, right? They look more like whatever, like a trading desk or something like that. But yeah, an interesting one for sure. And yeah, it looks from a technical standpoint, it looks that maybe this is a buy. I mean, we see this clearly, this big base. If the unlocks are done, then it could be a buy. Doesn't mean that I'm going to buy it. So do your own research on this and so on. Okay. So the next one is Floki, because Chris is asking for it. Floki, US dollar. What did you say on Maxi? Okay. On the Maxi chart. On the Maxi. Actually, where is Maxi though? Oh, there it is. Got it. Yeah. Trying to get through this. That is your that's what Floki is consolidating in since a long time, right? And as mentioned before, you are looking at, it's not super clean, it didn't come up here, but you're looking at something like this. Hopefully, I mean, you don't know, right? Inverse head and shoulders or so. You don't know, it's not, the neckline is not really clean. So you still have to get up here and then come back, right? To fill this. So volume, right? So we talked about this yesterday. Here's your pullback. It's not ready yet, right? It's not ready yet, this pattern. Do we see anything? I mean, we see a large pattern though. We see a large pattern though. Something like this. I mean, the cup and handle was theoretically already complete here. Yeah, I mean, also, let me see what else. I mean, here's your uptrend. It definitely doesn't look bad. That's for sure, right? It doesn't look bad. But I think you could go into another round of pulling back and so on. You should, though, have reached this upper level. This would be great if you would have reached. Like, people are selling off close to this high here from 2021. So Floki seems to be almost at all-time highs. Like, everyone is almost in profit. So yeah. Please look at Egon. Yeah. I don't know. We don't have that much time. What I wanted to look at is one more sand because of so sand US dollar. Actually, we had another chart. What was our chart? I think here. Oh, by the way, this was the last chart, I think, right? So we had. It's funny because we had like a long time ago we charted this and we had this breakout target and we almost hit it here. Yeah, now we see that there is some volume on sand. But I think the most important thing is that sand had been going down quite a bit, had even formed new lows. This should teach us something for Omi. So, and still, like, sand being almost dead, just needed a couple of posts and was back in business. So, for example, this one I could find for sand, this post here, where they were showing this environment. So we see this, right? So they just posted this on basically, and then they were, I don't know if it's the first reason or the main reason why they were pumping, but they were just showing this, right? And I mean, like, in Sandbox, there's not much going on. Like, Sandbox daily active users, right? let's see what's going on. I did Vechain, didn't I? I did Vechain, Ronai. I did Vechain a couple of minutes ago. I don't know. I did it already. We looked at the article with the Renji Hospital, and then we looked at the chart. So here we see it, right? Historic activities. We see that it's getting a little bit more activity. But we see that actually since October there's more activity on Sandbox, right? So that's I don't hold any Sandbox, by the way. I'm just trying to derive some things here for Veve, for Ecomi, right? Sorry, I was out. Okay, I think it's about 10 minutes ago, so you can just go back to that one. I think you might like what I've been looking at, but that's basically that for the Sandbox. So the question is now, if we're looking at the Veve at the Ecomi chart and say, okay, Ecomi is integrated now somehow in the app, right? Also, because if you look at the new app on mobile phone for Veve, then and you go into a collectible, you have a button list on Stacker now. So that is, I think, something new with the new app. So that is pretty cool. The question is, so we still see like long wicks on the upside. Every time this price comes close or into this previous wedge, it gets sold off, right? So the question is, when will the pump start? And do you remember that in yesterday's stream we talked about Ecomi being in a lawsuit with one of the initial advisors about the token, like wanting damages instead of token, right? Because that individual cannot sell all of their tokens or something like that, because nothing too much happening. But this lawsuit is in hearings and in trial right now, right? So it's now in decision time. So it's about 3 weeks, supposed to like 3 weeks going on, and then it might be over, and then we will see again in 3 weeks if there's something happening, if we can finally after that see something coming up, or if we will, I don't know, see some final dump or whatever. We don't know, right? Will the sell pressure go on? Maybe. We don't know if there's enough whale wallets. Also, one thing that is still to be considered here is that we don't know what about the other 16 billion from Bitforex, right? 16 billion tokens on Bitforex. We don't know what's going on with that. Trucking Gang says, not impressed with the app, needs improvement. Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think everyone is feeling that at the moment, right? So I think here we have another one for feedback for the app, Veve app. So we have, for example, Straight saying, can't review new listings. Market can show auctions as floor when selling too. Notifications are broken. No MCP breakdown. No OMI showing. Read comics broken. Can't view user profile feed. Feed pictures are cropped. Some Androids can't view profiles at all. Delete account is too easy. Yeah, be very careful with the delete account button. Way too easy. Ronai says, great TA for Vechain, much appreciated. Thank you very much. What country is the trial in? I don't know actually. But it must be. I think it's in the US though. I think it's in the US. Yeah, I think it's in the US. Yeah. So that, but it's like a. I think it's like a civil one, so it doesn't have anything to do with SEC and legislation and so on. It has to do with former advisor versus Orbis. I think versus Orbis. But yeah, that's a good criticism here from Straight. My Collectibles answers here and says you can view your MCP totals in full profile by selecting profile settings. Straight then says we had a breakdown of where our MCP points were coming from before this update, like points from collection, points from staked OMI, points from listing, etc. So yeah, basically if you lose features on an update, that's obviously not great. And I'm not saying that that you can't have anything good here with this app, but there's a lot of things to improve, right? And I think you can't. What I don't understand is why don't you run beta testing with this version? Like have people have a button where you can toggle the new version, right? Why don't you invite, like you have Veveverse is like since 5 years in beta or something like that. Exaggerating, it's like 1.5 or 2 years in beta. OMI stuff was on Stacker also in beta, right? Why can't you beta test with this? Why do you have to test your version in a rollout where people can't roll back to the initial version? I don't understand, right? I really don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, then question is, take a closer look at Thanos Rising. What else? Sponsored by Veve this week in Veve. Drop news, community content, app updates on Omili. When is Veve sponsoring this channel? When? When is there an ambassador program where this channel is getting something from Veve? I don't know. But we also don't really care too much. We just want Veve to do well, and that's why we criticize Veve. So next big thing is the Punisher evolution coming. We're going for the chase, and hopefully I'm able to stream that live. Yeah. An update nobody wanted made the app worse, says Wes. Yeah, at least for now. It's actually not good. Also, what I don't get, I mean, I would take every shitty update as long as it gets faster, right? If the app is faster, that would actually make things better. Dan O says, just one time I would love to be pleasantly surprised by a Veve Ecomi update. That's also true, yeah. Since a longer time we are not, but hopefully at some point sentiment shifts, and then this would also be happening. By the way, let's quickly check out the latest transactions on Veve. So in the last 2 days, a lot of secret rares for the Lamborghini have been selling at $1,000. One Spider-Man Miles Morales sold. The floor is at $11,000. Partner statues also sold quite a bit. The floor is now at $1,700, which is $400 above where it was before. Also, this Wolverine Primal Strike at $2,000 now, and Marvel Comics #1 is up also a little bit at $3,000. So some floors are moving upwards. We see that trend. So at least that is good news. But the problem, my fear is that people will have less and less fun with the app if there are no improvements for like loading times and so on. It's really a pain to search, like to browse the market. It's really a pain. I think like make it faster. Then you can do whatever, like button color. I don't care. Make it faster. Make AR fun, right? User numbers though, slight uptrend from 60,797 to 60,864. So that's some 70. Yeah, within the last 70 users or so, slightly growing upwards. We will see how it develops. We are closing in on another full 1,000 of the users. MK for life. Yeah, MK is great, man. MK is great. Very organic, I would say. Dan O says, is it still possible to track secondary market purchases like before to see how much dollars Veve has been making? I think it's not that easy anymore because we cannot tap into the reserve wallet anymore. So like reserve to vault move, that is gone. So it's not that easy anymore to track the secondary market dollars. I think what you can do is primary grossing, and then you can potentially make a rough estimate here on the, like on all these sales, right? You see these sales and you just consider the 2.5% here that Veve takes on all these transactions. I mean, you still see, like, if I refresh this, and these are from 1 day ago, but if I refresh this, you can see that there are still a lot of transactions going on. Like in the last couple of minutes, you have a lot of mighty transactions and so on. So this, like, the machine is producing money all the time. The question is how big and fast, right? Let's see. Is OMI to 8 cents this bull run likely? You can't say this for sure. Like, I would say it's not likely. I would say it's possible, but it's not likely. I mean, 8 cents is 1 cent is way up there, right? 1 cent is super way up there. You are talking about a rough 5-6x from all-time high. Moonback, but the sell pressure will be insane before then. Yeah. Howard says 10.08 is likely. I would say that's also not very likely because that's, what is that, like a $10 market cap or so? People will be happy to exit at 0.002. Maybe. I think many people will not exit at 0.002, but somewhere, right? So yeah, there's a lot of. We will see. When sentiment shifts, things can move extremely quickly. You only have to consider, though, that, like, the way upwards, I mean, 0.001. Wait a second. 0.001. Well, let's do this way. 0.001 is. Wait a second. 0.001 is 3x, about 3x. 1 cent is like 1.15 cents or so. Previous all-time high is 35x away. Yeah, something like that. That and thereabout. It's a little bit more. Like all-time high is a little bit more, and then so you're talking from where we are. It's a 38x to all-time high, 39x even. And you're talking then about 6 times that for 8 cents. So I would say that's pretty far away, right? So I would say we can be really happy if we go back to 0.077. I remember just right now as I'm saying this, I'm remembering around the Ecomi verse from half a year ago, when I said, in the best case, the bull run is hardcore on and we would be back at 0.007 by end of this year. And certain people told me that I am way too bearish, and look where we are. I was way too bullish, man. But I was the fodder already on the stream, right? So, yeah, I should have been staying with, like, we are where we are, right? Even in the end of this year, like if the all season if the alt season's on. Like the best case that you can have is altcoin season's coming, people are dropping some money in, the sell pressure slowly going away, and at some point you're just going, you're going to the moon, and then at this range people will be selling hardcore. Like this range here, 004, so will be hardcore selling. This is the lower band. People will have lowered some of their average, so it will be under this, and then hopefully, yeah, then maybe, but for that you need to come out of the slump, right? That it's just this sell off needs to stop. Yeah, can't believe Riz ditched for meme coins. Yeah, I mean, you have to invest something, but this is also nothing against the meme coins. I mean, I think that if people have fun with Chuck and so on, it's all fine. Like if people have fun and if people enjoy the journey, then it's fine. But the problem is if you're going hardcore in when that's the biggest hype train, then yeah, at some point this will go the other way, right? We never know. Can't wait to see all the new Omi content creators if we even get momentum. Yeah, I remember Jake Gagan. That's how long I've been holding. Why isn't Omi on big exchanges? Yeah, same reason why Omi isn't being shilled. Probably. Yeah, we will see. But anyways, guys, that's it for today. Make sure to smash up the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on. We're going to stay with the finger on the pulse of this market. Right now we're selling off. We've discussed why we're selling off. We have looked at some altcoins, Vechain, Sand, Aevo, and Floki. We are going to continue to look at more altcoins once the altcoin season is starting. We're probably doing a separate thing only for the altcoins. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. Wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day.